All right, guys, welcome to episode 108 of Converse in the Ninjaverse. I'm Will.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Mike.
And look, Mike's not tinny anymore.
No, but Will's audio is going to be a crappy old episode.
Listen, this is a work in progress.
Great.
It wouldn't be the Ninjaverse if we didn't have technical difficulties. It's the trademark.
Trade, I guess.
Will is broadcasting from a moving subway car.
Yeah, I'm a Doppler effect today. All right. So we got some news, but let's talk about the box office first. What happened this weekend? Tell me 50 Shades of Grey is not number one, please. Thank you.
50 Shades of Grey is not number one, thank you.
Thank God.
Focus is number one. That's, I guess, the new Will Smith...
It's like a con man movie? Heist movie?
Like, yeah, something like that. That took
is the description on IMDb. In the midst of a veteran con man, Nicky's latest scheme, a woman from his past, now an accomplished femme fatale, shows up and throws his plans for a loop.
Okay.
That is Focus.
That is
It just looks like any one of those. It didn't look anything special. It looked like any other con man movie.
Yeah.
You know, Matchstick Men or Confidence or any of those. You know, for a while there was a string of con man movies.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s.
Yeah, so that came in at number one.
It's also, wait, as a little trivia fact, that's also the first time you're going to see Deadshot and Harley Quinn in a movie together because they're going to be in Suicide Squad.
There you go.
With Jared Leto's haircut.
You know, I've been rewatching. I finished it earlier today. Justice League Unlimited on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which, if you're interested, check it out this month because it's coming off at the end of March.
So much stuff is coming off the end of March.
Yes, there is a shit ton of stuff. I mean, we can get into that later.
Yeah.
But, you know, with watching some of it and refamiliarizing myself with some of the characterizations of Deadshot and some of the Suicide Squad stuff, you know, and I remembered reading this early on, it just seems like Will Smith should be playing the Flag character and not Deadshot. I mean, I'm sure he probably wants to show more range, and it's more interesting casting than him in that part that you kind of expect him to be in, but hopefully it doesn't hurt the way the movie pans out.
Yeah. But coming in at number two, for I guess it's been steadily in number two, is Kingsman: The Secret Service.
I think it's been in number two every week.
Yeah, so it's doing pretty well. That took in a little under $12 million this weekend, $85.5 million total. Number three is SpongeBob, $10.8 million, $139 million total. Number four.
You know, I think that SpongeBob. We're gonna get a SpongeBob movie every couple of years because it seems like it's not gonna go away on TV. There's always gonna be a generation of kids that find it, and as those kids get older, they'll become the stoners that watch it.
Yeah.
And laugh their ass off. Because I'll be honest with you, that's how I got introduced to SpongeBob. I had some very big stoner friends that were like, "You have to watch this."
He lives in a pineapple under the sea, man.
You know what makes it even better? Did you ever see SpongeBob? Did you ever see it on Wii? Yes, Jon Stewart turned me on to SpongeBob in 1996.
Nice. Number four is 50 Shades of Grey.
At least it dropped hard, man.
It dropped pretty hard.
Hard.
$10.5. Yeah, it's hard. $10.5 million for the weekend. $147 million total.
Y'all still dirty.
So it's not doing much better than SpongeBob.
No, but now SpongeBob is ahead.
Yeah. And number Jesus Christ. Number five is The Lazarus Effect. That took in a little over $10 million.
That movie looked terrible.
I liked that movie the first time I saw it when it was called Flatliners.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it's gonna.
Yeah, it really looks like a Flatliners meets Insidious type of spiel going on there.
Well, every horror movie now has the same font, the same effects over the letters.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, everything looks like.
A horror movie gets very horror will always get very styly specific that way.
Mm.
They kind of make this look like this, so the people who enjoyed that will go see that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the type of stuff we've talked about in that podcast that we used to do. In our horror podcast, we talk about things like that. But that's typical. You get, or you're in a slasher movie area, you're in a monster movie area, you're in a era, not area. I'm sorry. Era. And right now we're in a haunting era of
Haunting on Crowley Street era, or whatever the hell that movie was called. Haunting on Connecticut Ave.
Haunting in Connecticut.
That's what it was.
Based on a true story.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Which was really just made up because it sounded like the mother wanted to cover up the fact that her son was a horrible drug addict.
Yeah, possibly.
Sometimes that happens.
Apparently, when I did some research after I saw it, because I really enjoyed the movie, and I remember seeing a documentary about it too. And then as I did some more research, it's like, oh, they didn't go to Connecticut because the kid had cancer. They went to Connecticut so the kid could go to rehab. Oh.
It all makes sense now. That's why he was seeing shit. All right. So, do we want to start with the depressing, or do we want to start with happy first?
I can start with the depressing.
I'm not even going to say that it's depressing.
It's not really depressing.
No, it's not like he died tragically. I mean, it was old age, and he had a long, full life. But Leonard Nimoy passed away, what was it, Friday?
Friday, yeah.
83 years old?
83 years old. He had gone into the hospital a couple days prior. He was having some chest pain or something like that, from what I had heard. And
well, I guess I had seen a tweet that they reposted on the news that he had put up, I guess, a while ago. But he had
5 days ago, yeah.
Fighting some kind of lung problem from smoking. He quit smoking 30 years ago, but I guess he kind of said it wasn't soon enough, and that was one of the things that took him.
Yeah, and I mean, he'd been kind of posting some tweets that, in a way, was kind of like he was slowly saying goodbye.
It was almost reminiscent of like when the Ultimate Warrior did that speech, and then the next day, gone.
Yeah, it was very prophetic that he was able to, have great last words type of things. That life is like a garden type of, the memories, and enjoy it, and it only lasts in your memories. And that's why I wasn't looking at this as necessarily depressing. It's more like a celebration of the guy's life, because he had that iconic role, and not just in that sci-fi fantasy genre, but in American television. Probably one of the most recognizable characters of the 20th century.
Recognizable voice too. He did a lot of voice work.
Oh, a ton of voice work.
Yeah. In Search of was a great thing. He kind of touched on a lot of, he's always associated, so strictly with Star Trek, but he had the In Search of thing, which was what History Channel and Discovery Channel has become. Yeah.
The In Search of mysteries, where I still love In Search of. If I catch that on something, I watch it all the time. And a lot of those hold up almost, maybe not the reenactments, but the stories.
Those reenactments.
Some of them reenactments are corny. In Search of Bigfoot. And then there's a guy wrapped in a carpet walking down. You can see his sneakers.
Well, Bigfoot did wear sneakers.
Yes.
Shaq.
He wore ruse.
Because it was the 70s.
Because it was the 70s.
And he did, Leonard Nimoy was in... Actually, I just found out he was in 2 Transformers movies.
Yeah.
He did the voice of Galvatron in the original Transformers movie, the animated movie. And then I guess he showed up in that 3rd Transformers piece of shit movie that I didn't get a chance to see yet.
Oh, yeah, he played the old-ass, lots of metal hair, beard guy.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
He wasn't. The character itself was okay, but the movie was. It was better than the second one.
And I have, I don't know if I have any of it right here, and I meant to prep some of this, and I forgot. He put out at least 3 albums.
Yeah, I think he did at least 3.
And one was his 3rd album was a straight up folk album, because they put up a clip of his version of If I Had a Hammer on Pete Seeger's Facebook page. You know, because he put out kind of a pretty well-respected folk album in the 70s.
Yeah, I think I read something about that.
And a lot of his other stuff was very sci-fi driven to a point. Like his big novelty hit was the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins.
Yes.
I remember that.
And I had
to play for my wife a couple years ago because she didn't believe me.
I know. I have a version of him doing Ring of Fire, the Johnny Cash song. Yeah. And he does a great job with that. I don't have it up here. It must be on my other thing. But, and I had a Dr. Demento, like a best of Dr. Demento, where he did a novelty song in the Spock character. A song called Most Illogical.
I think, yeah. Somebody played a clip of that recently when they were just talking about it. I think over the weekend somebody played a clip of that.
He put out a lot of fun music, and I mean, the folk album with the Johnny Cash song and I Had a Hammer. I mean, you put it on. I always do that. Like I love playing mystery record with people. Mm-hmm. And you know, if we're sitting around and I got my my iPod with me, I'm like, oh, who's this? And they listen. And I'm like, I don't know. And it's Leonard Nimoy, and they're like, bullshit. I'm like, yeah, it's Leonard Nimoy.
I do that with my kids all the time. I'll put on like stuff. I'm like, what is this? Harley's good when it comes to like bands and songs and TV shows. Victoria's a little slower on that.
Well, that's one of my minor obsessions. Celebrities that put out albums. Mm-hmm. Like I have a whole playlist of different celebrities, people not known for being singers with a song. And the Leonard
is Don Johnson on there?
Don Johnson is on there.
Don Johnson's on there, but he's known for having a song. One of my favorite albums of all time is Return of Bruno.
Yes. Which I actually own on vinyl, the Bruce Willis album.
God.
It's actually pretty damn
He plays the harmonica on that too, doesn't he?
He plays harmonica and he sings. It's kind of a bluesy rock thing.
Yeah, it's a bluesy rock album. It's fun.
But I know on iTunes there's a album that's best of Kirk and Spock. It's Nimoy and Shatner. It's a best of album for the two of them.
Nice.
But the guy was, he did a lot of work and he directed a ton of stuff too. You forget about that with Nimoy. I think did he direct 3 Men and a Baby?
Yes, he directed the original 3 Men and a Baby. Which I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that.
I heard it on Hollywood Babylon today that he directed that. I was like, oh yeah, I guess he did. I never knew that.
I saw it in one of the things, and I'm like, oh no shit, I completely forgot about that.
I haven't seen that movie in 100 years.
I try to avoid that movie, but
the first one wasn't bad.
No, I'm just not.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of it was that 80s goofiness.
Yeah, second one was terrible. They never did make the third one.
Now they could make the third one and it would be like 3 old men and a middle-aged lady.
Yeah, pretty much. 3 old men in the home. There was something else I was going to say.
That was again. Because I'm just drawing a blank. That was Danson, Gutenberg, and
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. The only one who's doing something right now is Tom Selleck.
No, Ted Danson's on a CSI show of some sort.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's on one of the CSIs.
Yeah, Danson has always stayed busy. And Gutenberg, I feel like he just kind of got a bad rap.
Well, he's going to be in Lavalantula.
I love Steve Gutenberg. And if you haven't seen the Disney Tower of Terror movie, I highly recommend it.
Movie.
I love that movie. I love that movie. It's got Steve Gutenberg in it, and it's got what's her name, the first Mary Jane from the Spider-Man movie.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst in it.
And she's still like a kid in it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's much better. It's much better than the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie.
Yeah, that movie was terrible. Yeah,
Leonard Nimoy was in Them, one of my all-time favorite monster movies about the giant ants.
It's about the giant ants, yeah.
Yeah. Western, sci-fi, action TV. He was all over in a ton of different things.
Mm-hmm. Even I think it was last year, he voiced Migo Spock on Big Bang Theory.
Yes, he did do Migo Spock on Big Bang Theory, where they wanted him to come on and play himself, but that was after he had retired after he kind of saw himself in those last couple Star Treks, and he's like, I look awful.
In recent movies, he was in the Land of the Lost movie. He did the voice of the Zarn in the Land of the Lost movie.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I only saw that movie like maybe one half a time. It was on. I'm watching them. It's like, oh, this is why this movie bombed. It's terrible.
It's terrible. But
I'm looking at his
director. Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
From Uncle.
Oh, he did. It wasn't. He did iRobot on Outer Limits.
Yeah.
The original iRobot he was in. When it was the real story, not the Will Smith nonsense. Boy, can Will Smith break a lot of stuff.
He can. He actually, what was he? He was just talking to somebody about his regret about After Earth, how he knew it was just such a bad movie, but it was something his son wanted to do kind of thing.
Oh, he's pushing that on his kid? Oh.
He's like, well, my son has to learn that sometimes you take a bad project, you gotta get the heat.
Yeah. Has his son taken a good project yet? Is that
His son has a terrible rap album out right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, getting off Will Smith and back to Leonard Nimoy, I'm looking at his directing credits, and once you get away from the Star Trek movies and 3 Men and a Baby, there's not an awful lot here.
No?
Something with Gene Wilder called Funny About Love in 1990.
I vaguely remember that.
Holy Matrimony in 94 with Patricia Arquette.
No.
Yeah, some of the other stuff. Oh, Body Wars. Was that the old Disney ride thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
He directed Body Wars.
Fantastic. Ingrained in Disney. That's still there, isn't it?
No, Body Wars
they dumped
Body Wars has been gone for a long time.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was looking for when I was there for my honeymoon a couple of years ago. Body Wars and Veggie whatever.
Yeah, the
when the
Kitchen Cabaret.
Kitchen Cabaret, yeah. There are a lot of things that's fond from my childhood memories. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I ruined that when I was a kid because I'm under the water. All of a sudden I look up, I'm like, I still see the water. I'm not on 20,000 leagues under this water.
Yeah, but I always loved that movie, so I bought right into it. I suspended all of this.
That is probably one of my favorite live-action Disney movies. I may watch that before bed tonight.
Oh, speaking of Disney real quick, you were talking a couple weeks ago about that new cartoon coming out. I'm from another dimension.
Yes, Star versus Evil or something.
That song is so fucking catchy.
Isn't it?
They were showing that commercial nonstop on Disney. I'm like, God damn, this song is great.
Yeah, it's this weird little punky action song.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a catchy motherfucker.
It is a catchy motherfucker.
All right, we keep sidetracking off the celebration of Leonard Nimoy's life.
We do. He touched everything.
He touched the one thing that outside of all that other stuff, he did 2 episodes of The Simpsons, but he did one of my all-time favorite episodes of The Simpsons, the monorail one.
Yes.
Marge versus the monorail, where he played himself, and he came in to cut the ribbon on the monorail, and they want him to say "May the Force." Quimby said "May the Force be with you" to him. And my all-time favorite Simpsons line is Homer, there's a man here to help you. Is it Batman? No, it's a scientist. Batman's a scientist. It's not Batman.
I need to watch Simpsons. Simpsons is one of those shows I really have to watch more.
Yeah, I might start DVRing it again. I had gotten, I had felt like I had seen a lot of it, especially the classic episodes. I had felt like I'd seen a ton of times, and then I felt like my DVR was getting filled up with the more recent episodes, which aren't as rewatchable as.
Yeah, I find myself with The Simpsons. I find myself going through phases where like I'm watching Simpsons all the time, and then I don't watch it for like 2 years.
Yeah,
that's why I am with South Park.
South Park, I can kind of plug back into every once in a while. Simpsons and South Park, I still watch all the new episodes. And when they did the Simpsons
Family
marathon, I was watching some of that. They did this past Halloween. They did the Treehouse of Horror marathon, and I watched almost all of those.
Nice.
But I can get that. That comes and goes, and some episodes are better than other episodes. It's definitely, I like to say cold spell. I know a lot of people say it's fallen off in the years, and there's the real hardcore Simpsons fans that don't necessarily see the drop off.
Mm-hmm.
I blamed some of the lesser episodes on them working on the movie, but the movie's already 6 years ago now.
At least.
Wow.
Which was one of those things that we waited for so long, and then I don't really know if it's worth the wait.
Yeah, it was alright.
I enjoyed the movie, but
I did too. But
I guess nothing ultra special happened in it.
Yeah.
It gave a Spider Pig.
It did give a Spider Pig.
Yes.
That's literally the only thing I remember from that movie. Just Spider Pig.
Spider Pig and come on, I'll let you hold the bomb.
Alright, but yeah, Leonard Nimoy, you were a national treasure to this world.
Did you guys see what Kevin Smith had written about him?
I don't think so.
Probably. I don't remember.
Kevin Smith put a thing up on Facebook. I'm gonna look while I'm talking. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. But he put up a thing and kind of said that Leonard Nimoy was like the friend you never met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he was a guy. All right, here it is. Farewell, friend I never met. Actor, director, pop culture icon Leonard Nimoy has passed away. Known the world over as Mr. Spock from Star Trek, he was also a director, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, 3 Men and a Baby, author, singer, amazing Simpsons guest. He's kind of recapping everything that I just said. or I stole this all from him.
We all have Jersey mentality is what happens.
Yes. And it says, someone you felt like a friend you just had never gotten to meet. For me, he will always be the voice of another television show that shaped my childhood. In Search of. He talks about In Search of. And then it ends it with, of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human. That line from Wrath of Khan, which is maybe the best thing anybody could ever say about you. It was part of the character he played, but then it fit well in the man that he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just kind of the way that Leonard Nimoy felt like. It felt like it was an uncle that you didn't see all the time, but did like when you ran into, or when you did see him for the holidays or something. You're like, oh yeah, I really like this guy. I just never get to see him. And that's how I think that's how a lot of people felt about Leonard Nimoy. Whether you're whatever you know him from. He did something that somebody enjoyed at some point.
Well, I saw, and this is another thing that I saw on somebody had posted on Facebook, and it was one of those pictures that just kind of breaks your heart when you see it. It was a picture from the classic Star Trek TV show, and it was Spock, Bones, Kirk, and McCoy. Not McCoy. Scotty sitting at a table. And then, like, the picture below that was Kirk sitting at the table by himself, kind of with his head down. And it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Because, that's when it kind of really hits you that, not much of the, half of the cast is gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody down in Atlanta, they haven't said who it was. The moving billboards, like when you're driving down, you see the pictures change or whatever?
Yeah.
Somebody bought one, and it's just Leonard Nimoy as Spock holding his hands up, and it just says he did.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I liked that.
So, man, Shatner's got to be a little like.
Well, Shatner's his own guy, and Shatner has revived a career and is living a healthy life. Shatner.
He's in his 80s too, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got to be. He was in Judgment at Nuremberg, and I don't think everybody else was in that movie's dead.
Wow.
Judy Garland was in that movie. That was.
Damn. Yeah, I'd say. All right, but Leonard Nimoy. I don't want to steal Kevin Smith's line. I'm gonna say it anyway. He will be missed. There you go. So let's move on to other stuff. Something a little lighter.
Probably the most poofy, lighthearted possible thing you could talk about. The Power Rangers.
Yes.
Yes, let's talk about those Power Rangers, because that... Oh, let's get the info on that film. I have it up here somewhere.
I watched it like all weekend.
Here we go, I got it.
Just in a loop on my tablet.
Yes, Joseph Kahn, he's done a bunch of fan films, and he's a regular director. He does movies and all that stuff. But he released on Vimeo originally, then a safer for work version wound up on YouTube of Power Rangers. It was in quote, dark as fuck Power Rangers 15-minute fan film.
And I loved it.
Starring Katie Sackhoff and the Dawson.
And the Dawson.
James
Not the pie fucker.
Not the pie fucker, just the Dawson.
Just the Dawson.
And it was good.
It really was, and I loved it for what it was. But at the same point, there was a little bit of backlash against it.
One coming from Saban.
Some coming from Saban, where they originally pulled it off the internet, but it is back up if you haven't seen it. I highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the not safe for work unrated one. I heard there's like boobs in it or something.
Yeah,
I sent a copy of that.
Oh, you did? Okay,
I sent it to Angela. So.
Yeah, all right. That's on the other computer. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
It's quick boobs. It's nothing.
It's not like 35 minutes. It's not Pink Ranger boobs. So I don't really
No, it's not Pink Ranger boobs.
No.
Now, Power Rangers for us, we kind of skewed a little old for Power Rangers. That was
I was a Power Rangers guy.
I think Power Rangers started when we probably hit college. Like, that's when it really had kind of taken off. Because I remember...
I was still in high school, I remember.
I remember it like 95-ish. 94, 95-ish when it started.
Yeah, just about that.
I did watch some of it. It might have been late high school.
Chad had slept over, and in the morning, we woke up, my brother's in the living room. I guess it was like the premiere of Power Rangers. We walk out into the living room, like, is this Godzilla? Like, this looks
and that's why I started watching it, and like I was never a huge, at that age, I was kind of, as we said, we were kind of skewing a little old for it.
93 it started, so we were high school.
We were high school, so we were finishing up high school.
You guys are 2 years older than me.
But I remember seeing it the first time, and that was the first thing I thought of. I thought of two things I thought of. I'm like, wow, this is a great Voltron ripoff, and two, oh my god, it's kind of like Godzilla.
Yes.
And I enjoyed it for what it was. I never was huge into it, and it's been around for 20 years now at least, in all its different incarnations and.
It was one of those things that I knew kind of existed with being a big Godzilla fan and hitting some of the conventions early on when I was in high school, and I would see bootleg tapes of different things like this with these action shows where you had a live action kind of Voltron type of show. I'd see it at flea markets. It would pop up at different places. So I was kind of aware of it, and when I saw it come to America, I'm like, oh, this is great. But then what made it, the kids show was all the American stuff that they spliced. I guess it always was a kids show, but what kind of took away from the cool Japanese stuff, where I'm sure the Japanese show had just as much goofy ass shit in it.
Yeah. When they made it, the 5 or 6, teenagers with attitude or whatever it was.
There's 5 teens with attitude.
But I enjoyed, from what I watched, I enjoyed it, and so I kind of seen last week, I guess after, it was probably a day or so after we had recorded last week that I had started to see this kind of popping up, like this.
Again, it was the day after.
Yeah, the day after.
Yeah, it was, it was like, this is popping up. Somebody put out a really dark, Power Rangers fan film. It's like 15 minutes, and then I think that was like Thursday, like Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, the latest, and kind of by the weekend it had been pulled. By Friday, I think it had been pulled.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it was the first one to get pulled.
as stuff like that does tend to do on the internet, though, it was like, it would get pulled here, like fucking Hydra. It would I'd get pulled here and then it would pop up here, and then it would get pulled here and it would pop up here.
You could always
so
find
it was definitely popping up all over the place. So I was able to get my hands on a copy, the not safe for work copy. And
both versions, just to be fair, are not safe for work.
They're not really safe for work, but the not safe for work one just has boobs in it.
Yeah.
And I actually, after watching it, I kind of had to do a little bit of research because I didn't know who Vanderbeek was playing.
The Dawson.
Yeah, I had to look at first too.
At first, I thought he was playing Jason. I had a feeling he was playing the Red Ranger.
Yeah,
I thought he was playing Jason, the original Red Ranger, but he was playing Rocky, the second Red Ranger.
Yes.
And
yeah, they were mixing them up because Katie Sackhoff played Kimberly, who was the original Pink Ranger. Everybody was the original except for Dawson. But I think they actually killed off Jason in the short at some point too. So. Yeah,
after that, and that's when I realized, like, oh, okay, Vanderbeek isn't playing Jason.
Yeah.
He's playing, he's playing so and so. He's playing the other. He's playing the guy that took over for him, like the second season or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to look into it a little bit because they said, "Oh, hey, Rocky," and I'm like, I don't remember. I'm like, all right, that one is the Blue Ranger. That was, because again, it's something that I kind of sort of watched. Saturday afternoon, kind of drunk, hungover, high school hungover, college hungover.
Well, and there were some great callbacks to things too, and like I forgot, like I'm thinking, remembering the show, I'm forgetting they were like the two bumbling,
the comic relief
thugs, comic relief, and I completely forgot about them, and then like they show up in this as like complete thugs who like sold out the Power Rangers at one point. I was like, that's kind of cool, Yeah,
they did a lot of interesting things with it, and it had this cool, revived, dark, gritty, just adultness to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why you kind of got that reaction you did from the original Rangers.
Most of them, like Green Ranger, was not happy.
Yeah, but he's still petitioning to be the Green Ranger in the new movie that Saban's actually
he's
making.
He's milking that thing for all it's worth.
He does a ton of shows. I see him at Comic-Cons all over the place, and he has a huge following. All those kids, 30 years old, kids, all those people grew up. And he gets a big line at some of these conventions. Sometimes he's sitting there by himself. Sometimes he has 40, 50 people in the line waiting to see him. And then he has people sing the whole theme song. He leads the crowd. He does a lot of cool things with it. And, in his criticism of it was it just...
Right.
Yeah, it was that he felt it was too dark for something that was a kid's show that's still kind of actively a kid show. I think they just had the last episode of the last series.
Yeah, I think Nickelodeon owns it right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's still airing at some level in some places.
Yeah, Disney had it for a while, and then they just recently sold it back to Saban.
And the guy who was the Black Ranger, he kind of said the same thing, that like, it's great that people, have interest in it and would like to see the character, see it grow up like that, but it's still something made for kids, and it still is for kids.
Yeah.
So, and I guess in all their defense, they're kind of, even Saban want it off. If a kid is searching for Power Rangers video clips and this shows up.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get a group of angry parents that are like, oh, how are you going to put this out? And it's like, well, we didn't put this out. Somebody else did.
Yeah, now it's back up, but there's a disclaimer in front of it, like a big disclaimer saying, yes, this is just a fan project, this isn't official, blah, 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 things like that. Pink Ranger loved it. She's like, Katie Sackhoff nailed it.
Yeah, Pink Ranger did enjoy it. But it's almost like, I would love it to stay up and be up, but you almost have to call it something other than Power Rangers.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of nod that it would separate it from that, at least in a search engine.
Yeah.
which has become this weird thing now because I've seen, my 8-year-old nephew can Google and search anything on the internet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He looks up all kinds of stuff. So if he was looking up Power Rangers and he came up with this and then wants, in my family, I could see it not being as much a problem. We could kind of explain it away to him. But there'd be soccer moms burning buildings down if they.
Yeah, absolutely.
All this.
They riot.
All that "what about the children" nonsense.
Yeah.
Think about the children.
But in the meantime, we were like 5 years old and watching Commando and
I used to watch all the time when I was a kid? Beastmaster and the Sword and the Sorceress.
Yes. Dude, Mark Singer was just on something the other day. I think he was on Arrow or something the other day. It's like, it's the Beastmaster.
I'm still a couple episodes behind on Arrow, but I think they did sign him up to play something. He was, I forget who it was.
Yeah.
But I did remember reading that he was going to be on Arrow.
I mean, it wasn't a big part, but it was just like he was there. I was like, it's the Beastmaster.
But it's Mark Singer.
Yes.
It with listening to the comments that the Green Ranger made, it reminded me of Adam West when the Tim Burton Batman came out in '89.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he was kind of, well, this isn't really what we were creating then, and it's a weird thing, any of this action stuff or kids things that they want to readapt to make mature like that. It's odd. You gotta come, you gotta find a nice happy medium that you can still keep it for kids and make it interesting for adults. And that's when you wind up with pieces of shit like Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I still can't bring myself to watch the second G.I. Joe movie. It's there. I own it.
I do too. It's sitting there. It's staring at me in the face.
I was just like, one day I'll get bored enough.
Don't do it. Just don't.
Yeah, but there's no weigh-ins.
There is no weigh-ins. And I was thinking about too, when we were kids, they used to adapt R-rated movies in the cartoons.
Yeah, we had Rambo and RoboCop and
Chuck Norris Karate Commandos.
Chuck Norris Karate Commandos.
Police Academy had a cartoon.
Police Academy, yeah.
Toxic Avenger. We talk about that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But there was a ton of RoboCop. There were a ton of toy lines for all that stuff. Predator.
New RoboCop just hit Netflix today.
Oh, yay.
I haven't seen that yet.
So this is a change of subject to get off the thing.
RoboCop?
Yes, Black RoboCop.
Yeah. RoboCop.
RoboCop.
That's a callback to an episode like a year or so ago.
I know.
That we were cracking up over Black RoboCop.
I forgot about Black RoboCop.
Stole Batman's suit and shit.
Yeah. God damn it, Black RoboCop. I watched, it was coming off Netflix. I had it on my list for a long time, and then I finally watched it because they were taking it off, I guess the beginning of February. I watched Dredd.
Okay.
And I went in with very low expectations and didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it at all.
I hadn't seen it yet.
I heard it was pretty good, though.
Most of it was pretty good. The opening sucked, and the opening actually almost made me shut it off. Because they did this effect that if they had kept doing, they did it a couple times at the beginning, and then they did it one more time at the end. But if they had done it through the course of the movie, I would have gave up. The drug du jour was this slow-mo drug that made you perceive reality at 1/10 the actual speed it was going, or something.
So it turned you into the Flash.
Or 1/100. No, it was the reverse. It turned everybody else into the Flash.
Oh, okay.
Or no, you just kind of everything just seemed so slow to you. So because they were like shooting people up with it and then throwing them off a building. So they felt like they were falling instead of falling for 3 seconds. It felt like they were falling for 3 hours.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
But the effect was this awful computer effect, and I'm like, oh, this is all like that. And there's a lot of computer blood type of stuff, and I'm like, this is gonna suck. But then they didn't bring it back again until the end, and it was, it's head and shoulders above the Stallone Dredd.
You mean the Stallone Rob Schneider epic vehicle?
Yes.
Armando Sante?
Well, they were trying to make. I mean, they made it campy.
Fucking Armando.
Armando Sante was my favorite part of that movie, though.
Oh God.
That movie made me an Amon Desante fan.
That's like saying Street Fighter made you a Raul Julia fan.
Street Fighter killed Raul Julia. That ain't funny.
I know. That's my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
But talking about comic book adaptations and things like that, there was actually news from the DC television section, which is on fire over on the CW. In addition to over on CBS, they cast Dean Cain and Helen Slater in the Supergirl show.
I saw that.
Which, that was pretty cool. CW is working on a third superhero show, which is going to be a superhero team-up show, which will feature the Atom. It's going to feature Firestorm. It's going to feature Canary One, who in Arrow continuity is dead, so that's going to be interesting. And
nobody in comic books stays dead.
Oh, it is gonna. You know, I was interested when I saw. I didn't read the whole article. I just saw the headline.
Mm-hmm.
Are they doing Justice Society of America?
I don't know, but they are going to feature 3 superheroes that have not been seen on TV also.
Cool.
So I don't know. Maybe this might
Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
I was gonna say, how are they gonna wedge Batman into this fucking show?
People are saying Booster Gold and Blue Beetle.
Oh, I would watch.
That would be fun.
I would watch the shit out of that show.
And I mean, they're probably gonna throw another female hero in there at some point because right now Canary is the only one listed. But yeah, so they're working on that. That's in early production right now. So I think CW is trying to get a superhero show on every night, or this is going to fill the Agent Carter role, and when they're in hiatus, they're going to throw in the team-up show.
I like that because then you could have Flash show up for an episode or two, and Arrow show up for an episode or two.
Mm-hmm. So DC's got the TV side. They have clicking, other than Gotham, but we don't count that in this.
Well,
universe.
I mean, they have it kind of clicking to the point, but it's still all spread out. That you're going to have Supergirl on one channel and Teen Titans on another channel, and then.
Yeah, but they're all essentially owned by the same studio.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility for crossovers, but whatever.
From a certain point of view.
Like they're saying Cyborg may be one of the heroes, even though Cyborg is going to be in the movies, they might throw him on TV also. So here we go with DC's multiverse.
Nah.
All Chris wants is Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. That's all Chris wants.
Just give me Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and I'll be happy.
They were even saying Guy Gardner might be the character.
I'm down with Guy Gardner as well.
So I thought that was interesting.
One of my
But
favorite lanterns. I know that goes against everybody else in the world, but I always loved Guy Gardner as a lantern.
Did you guys see any of this Michelle Rodriguez?
Yes, I did see it, and I was going to bring it up, and I was like, this is like a reverse of everything we always say. I'm like, I don't understand. Well, she was basically saying minorities need to stop taking all the white superhero roles, where we say that all the white superhero roles are being taken up by minorities. It's interesting.
Well, we don't say all the roles.
No, like they get whitewashed. A lot of people get whitewashed, is what we just keep saying. Like Mandarin.
I didn't have a problem with that. The only one I really have a problem with.
The heroes get multicultural.
Which is fine, but
I guess this thing with Michelle Rodriguez came up because her name, I guess, started getting battered around for Green Lantern.
Really?
Like a female, like using Jade, maybe?
I don't know if it's going to be Jade or if she was going to be Girl Gardner, or,
Girl Gardner. Oh my god, that's got to be one of the multiverses.
Don't do it, DC. Just don't.
As long as Ryan Reynolds isn't part of it, I'm fine with that.
But,
I didn't hate him as Hal Jordan.
I
didn't hate him in that movie, but I didn't think he was a great Hal Jordan. It wasn't terrible, but
I don't want to say I hated it. I didn't Hal Jordan. I didn't hate him in that movie.
Yeah,
I don't hate that movie.
He was the least of that movie's problems.
Yeah, that movie had a lot of disappointment on a lot of other. It seemed like they would do something cool, and then it would just get lame.
Yeah. Like, the roller coaster was cool, and then Hector Hammond was lame.
Yeah, Hector Hammond moves down in the wrong direction. You need a good villain. You need a strong villain for these things. You can't start off with, here's a...
With C-grade.
A crap kind of generic,
and,
ambiguous villain.
and guest starring Galactus as Parallax.
Yeah.
That was terrible too. You can't start with Parallax in a
Yeah, the Parallax thing was too much. It was. I don't know. They missed on a lot of things there.
Yes.
But I still didn't hate it. I know I'm in the minority, but I still didn't hate it.
Hey, we saw it in the theater opening night, me and the kids and Gina. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed going to see it in the theater. We went and saw it in a really nice dine-in theater. We went late. Me and my wife and my brother in the nice recliner seats, and I remember we all got milkshakes because we had eaten dinner already. It was
Nice.
it was like being a little kid seeing a movie and getting a milkshake. So I had a fond memory of the movie, even though we were kind of like, the next one will be better. Sinestro will be in the next one.
Mm-hmm. That was the kids' first 3D movie. It was Green Lantern.
I mean, it was a movie that 3D definitely worked for, but it was a movie that almost felt like it should have had a ride, a Universal Studios ride to go with it.
Oh, it had a ride.
But the movie felt like it could have been on a ride. It wasn't that.
No, that ride at Great Adventure, fuck that ride. Ride kicked me in the balls for 45 seconds. That ride is terrible.
Well, Great Adventure just makes a roller coaster and then names it after a superhero.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I don't think we had any more DC news because we already talked about the Aquaman picture. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
But we have some Marvel news. A couple of Marvel things. First, we have an official title, or a 90% official title, we'll say, for the Spider-Man films that are going to be coming out. It sounds like they're going with Spectacular Spider-Man.
Which I'm okay with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then for the next reboot, it'll be Web of.
Now what they're doing is Spider-Man is not getting an origin story. They're putting him back in high school, but he has already been established. He's Spider-Man. The movie hits the ground running. He is Spider-Man. Done.
Okay.
Apparently, the first part of the movie is going to be him kind of sparring with Iron Man and trying to as his tryout to get into the Avengers.
Okay.
So they're going to tie it in that way. And the villain of the movie, or should I say villains, it sounds like they're shooting for the Sinister Six. But it's not going to be the Sinister Six from the Mark Webb, what he was building over there with Mecha Rhino and all that shit. It's going to be a different Six, but it's still going to tie in with the Sinister Six movie that Sony's going to be releasing.
That made my head hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Because I still, like, even with the Suicide Squad movie, I just don't understand the appeal of people going to see a movie about villains.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Unless they spin something to make a couple of the villains a little deeper, a little more likable, something like that. I don't know.
Well, unless you're going to put a hero in it that's going to job to the villains.
It's possible.
And unless they're going to have some lesser hero. But, do they have a lesser hero? What's going to set it up? You almost have to have Spider-Man show up at the end and swear revenge.
Or is it a Spider-Man movie from the villain's point of view? That could be it too.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't.
Oh, and this.
I don't know.
But according to Latino Review, which we get all our Spider-Man news from, they also have a director and writer, Damon Lindelof, who he's directed a few things before, and he wrote the ending to World War Z that apparently made the movie a little bit better. So.
I know that Lindelof is. Oh shit! Why do I know that?
Let's see. He co-wrote Cabin in the Woods, and he worked under Joss Whedon on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's been around for a while.
Okay.
So it sounds like Spider-Man might be in good hands. So.
Can't be in any worse hands.
No. And Robert Downey Jr. wants to hang out with you for the day, sort of.
Well, I am a cool guy, and I would like to hang out with Robert Downey Jr.
Yes. Let me find I had the article up here a second ago. Let me pull it up. But basically, he's running like a charity auction kind of thing where your grand prize is you get to go hang out. Here it is. You get to go hang out with Robert Downey Jr. This was his big announcement that he teased last week. It's for Julia's House, which is a children's hospice charity in England. He's hosting a raffle contest charity drive. Here are the prizes you can when you hang out with him. Indoor skydiving, breakfast at Randy's Donuts, a helicopter around L.A., and that's just the beginning. You'll be flying you and a friend out to L.A. to spend the day like Tony Stark before my motorcade picks you up en route to the world premiere of Avengers Age of Ultron. And since we'll be walking the red carpet together, I'll make sure my team hooks you up with a tux or a gown ahead of time. We will watch the movie, have some caviar, and if it all goes well, maybe I'll even reconsider that whole no sidekick thing.
Nice.
So yeah, there's various levels. You go check it out at Julia's House. I think it's .org, something like that. And there's also omaze, OMAZE.com/RDJ. So, you can get an autographed Tony Stark Iron Man helmet. Kind of want that.
You know, it'd be really cool if you got to hang out with like Robert Downey Jr. from like 15 years ago.
Speaking of which, did you guys see the Goldbergs last week?
Yes.
It was a fantastic episode, and Charlie Sheen reprised his role.
He did. Charlie Sheen was reprised his role as the boy in the police station from Ferris Bueller.
Which my kids didn't believe that was the same guy. I had to show them the pictures on my side.
I loved the fact that the grandfather kept referring to them as the Fergles.
The Fergus.
The Fergus.
Yes. Such a good show. And fresh off the boat this week, I don't know if you guys have been watching that, but the whole episode, have you been watching it?
Mary and I watched the first episode because we're a couple weeks behind on that. We watched the first episode the other night after we finally got caught up on the Goldbergs. I enjoyed the first episode. I thought
it gets better.
It was entertaining. I figured it was kind of it's got to find its footing a little bit, but I thought it was fun.
Well, this week's episode involved Eddie, who's the main character, because this one takes place in the 90s. Goldberg takes place in the 80s. Yeah. Involves Eddie trying to save up enough money to buy the hot new video game that combines his favorite things: karate, basketball, and Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq Fu.
Yes. It involves him trying to save $50 to buy Shaq Fu.
That's awesome.
Yes. It's a really, really funny episode. And it brings to mind, they also say the 9 to 5 game from the Dolly Parton movie. They mentioned that in the show also. Nice. Which I totally forgot was a thing that existed.
There was a 9 to 5 game?
I believe there was back for the original Nintendo. Or Amiga. It was something.
That had to be like Atari or something. 9 to 5 came out in like 1983.
Hey, Nintendo came out in 1985.
Yeah, but I didn't make a 9 to 5 game.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I'm looking it up. I can't. 9 to working 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's. Oh wait, no, it's something else. That's a Flash game. Amazon 9 to 5. No, that's the movie. All right, so yeah, there might be a game, there might not be. We'll check our fact for that next week. But I vaguely remember them. I remember a mini game involving 9 to 5 from something. So whatever.
I think you're dreaming about this.
I don't know, but I did watch the shit out of that movie when I was a kid.
It was one of those things that was on all the time.
Yeah, I know. Back in the early days of cable, when you had 4
movies. It was
movies.
on after Beastmaster.
Yep. I think actually.
Sometimes you get the Dabney Coleman double feature. You get 9 to 5 and Cloak and Dagger. If you want to talk about 80s video games and 80s movies, Cloak and Dagger.
I sent my dad on such a goose chase trying to find me the Cloak and Dagger game for the Atari.
Which didn't exist.
No. Well, it did, but for the Atari, it was in the arcade, but I think there was a 7200 version, and I had the 2600. But oh man, that fucking movie was so good. I still watch it when it's on.
Who's in Cloak? It's Dabney Coleman, and is it the kid from E.T.?
Yep.
I think so.
Yep. And the fat hacker guy who was in everything back in the day. I think he was the same one that was in War Games.
Dennis Knight?
No, not Dennis.
No, the other guy. The other fat hacker guy.
Yes,
But I don't have anything else. Do you guys have anything else?
I do.
What do you have?
Our favorite sci-fi original movie series has just made some casting announcements.
Hallelujah.
Sharknado 3 will star Mark Cuban. For those of you people that don't know sports, he's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and I think he's also on that show Shark Tank.
Yes. Well, in Sharknado 2, the black guy from Shark Tank got killed by Sharknado.
Yeah. Mark Cuban is playing the President of the United States.
Awesome.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Bo Derek, who I don't think I've seen since Tommy Boy, is playing April's mom.
That's Tara Reid, correct?
Yes. Also, I don't know names. He's got who I don't remember the names are played, but Jerry Springer is showing up, and Chris Jericho has a role as a roller coaster operator.
He's the buffest roller coaster operator in the world.
Absolutely, I think his name is Brad, the roller coaster operator.
Yes.
Well, remember
we are
Kurt
getting
Angle was the buffest New
New York
Fire
firefighter.
Department chief or police chief, whatever the fuck he was. I was like, hey, Kurt Angle's in this movie.
And we are getting the much anticipated return of Nova from the first Sharknado.
That's
the
my girl.
girl that we referred to as not Tara Reid.
Yes. Reprising her role is not Tara Reid.
Reprising her role is not Tara Reid. Presumably with both hands intact in this movie.
Yes. And free of shark guts.
Free of shark guts, yes. Also, there's some alien rumors floating around that they're
like
making
aliens in Sharknado?
Yeah.
No, not not aliens in Sharknado. This is
You
aliens.
just made that movie so much better.
Oh, absolutely. Like it needed to get any better though.
Alien Nation.
Alongside the humans versus the Sharknado.
Aliens versus Sharknado. Absolutely.
Aliens attacked the Earth, and there's only one thing that could stop them.
The power.
Sharknado.
But no, the actual Aliens franchise is getting what they're referring to as a direct sequel to Aliens, which is what I thought Aliens 3 was.
Yeah,
I did hear about this, yes.
I heard that they're brushing those aside, but maybe not.
They are kind of brushing them aside. They don't need to brush aside Resurrection because that takes place 200 years in the future after.
Yeah.
But supposedly it's going to be a direct sequel to Aliens and have the return of Sigourney Weaver's Ripley and Michael Baine's Corporal Hicks.
Yes.
Which could be kind of cool.
I can't make my way through that fucking Alien game, though. It's so scary. And with this headset, I put it on with this headset with 7.1 surround sound, fuck that.
This headset that you're wearing is a piece of shit.
Yes. Nobody's gonna get this far in a podcast because the whole time you're
going like really loud, really soft, really loud, really.
I can't control the volume of my voice.
I have no inner monologue.
But the last bit of news I have, which I thought was kind of interesting, is that Disney has announced a new Star Wars cartoon, and it's in addition to Rebels, but it's a cartoon that it's going to be a Lego cartoon.
Oh yeah, I did hear about this.
And it's going to be retelling the first 6 movies, but through the eyes of the droids.
Oh, I thought it was through the eyes of Yoda.
No, it's through the eyes of the droids.
Oh, okay.
You said what, was you going to sit around for the first movie and a half?
That's what I thought. Yeah. It's like deep thoughts with Yoda.
But
12 episodes of Yoda sitting, making a campfire, petting a snake.
Hey, you know what? I'd watch that.
I'd watch that. I'd watch the hell. I'd go to the theater and stand online, and I'd watch it 12 times. But that's all I've got.
You know, I rewatched the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars,
which is so good.
And there's a great part where when the rebels can't find the Jedi plans, and they're like, "We lost them." They're like, "What are we gonna do?" Go, "I don't know. Let's blame Jar Jar." Like, Jar Jar, that guy retired like 20 years ago. I just
That
had to
show
throw
was-
that in.
That show was so great.
Yes.
It is. But I think that might be it for us this week.
If you're not watching Phineas and Ferb, you're doing it wrong.
Yes.
You know, I just want to, reiterate or a little bit from when we were talking about Netflix and all the things that were coming off Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
I can't recommend highly enough that Justice League Unlimited. I mean, the criticism of it has always been it always found the way to, like, get Superman out of the picture. But
Because there's so many people in the Justice League.
well, there was a ton of people in the Justice League, but it was some good storytelling for characters that you wouldn't necessarily get to see in a show that would be overshadowed by Batman or Superman in a situation. But I also forgot that show was kind of in a pre-Janet Jackson Super Bowl halftime show world where you got away with a little bit more on TV.
Okay.
Because it wasn't a primetime cartoon, but that was on like 5. It might have even been 8 o'clock on a Saturday night on.
It was.
Yeah, it was 8 o'clock Saturday night on Cartoon Network. So it was geared a little bit more towards older kids and adults. And it was kind of racy. There was a lot of double entendre. There was a lot of implied off-screen sex. And very even, like, not even slightly implied, but like Green Lantern and Vixen, waking up in the same apartment, half-dressed, and there was a great episode I watched where Lex Luthor gets his mind swapped with the Flash somehow.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And Flash winds up banging his chick. He's got some sorcerer chick that's working with him, and there's a out-and-out off-screen sex scene almost.
Nice.
But there's a lot of things, a lot of jokes and references, and almost to the point where, like, Green Lantern was like, "What the hell's this shit?" He almost says like they're literally just a half a frame off a cursing. So it was I missed that cartoon. I forgot how good it was, and how not condescending.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was making me think about it was, I don't know if you guys caught, well, Will, you might have caught it. I don't think you watch it, Chris. Teen Titans Go
Oh, yeah.
did their
I catch it
crossover this
occasionally.
week with Young Justice,
Yes. I did see that.
where they had the Young Justice characters appear. And the Young Justice characters were like, "You guys just aren't serious." And they're like, "Well, isn't it okay to be goofy and fun once?" It was really kind of in defense of that show and everybody on the internet who hates it for it not being Young
goofy.
Justice, or
Mhm.
not for being goofy and being silly, for being the SpongeBob of the DC universe. And it almost made me, like, I was getting ready to give up on that show because it was too goofy for me.
Mhm.
But there are things that I would occasionally laugh at, and then other episodes I'm like, "This is stupid. I'm a grown man watching this, and this is I wouldn't even want to watch this if I was 11."
No, you know what, though? Watching Cartoon Network, you know what show cracks me up, and I shouldn't watch it because it's stupid as shit? The Amazing World of Gumball. That cartoon literally just kills me every time it's on. Shit cracks me up.
I've laughed at some of the Gumball stuff. Gumball's funny. Regular Show, I watched the first 2 seasons of that on Netflix.
That was alright.
That's also coming off. Regular Show has its moments. I like it. And me and my nephew, who's 8, bond well over stuff from Regular Show.
Mm-hmm.
He'll do things like ham bone, and then my father's like, "What the hell's wrong with the kid?" I'm like, "I know what he's doing. That's all right." It's from a cartoon. Don't worry about it.
So
But
what
they,
else is coming off? What else is coming off Netflix?
All the Cartoon Network stuff.
Yeah, almost
Really?
all the Cartoon Network stuff. Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, probably regular Justice League. I didn't have that on my... But, I mean, the stuff on my list, there was a ton. Because it was all those cartoons, all the stuff that I liked watching. But they didn't do a great job of... They would have things up there, but it's like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends that I love. And I put that on for the kids all the time, but it's only like season 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, same thing with a lot of those shows. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Here, hold on, I got it right here, what's coming off.
I don't think
Batman
Young
Beyond's coming off. Justice League Unlimited.
there?
Yeah, that
Okay.
was.
The server
Fucked up.
froze. That's the message I got from Google.
Yeah, that's a message I got from Google as well.
Okay. So go ahead, Mike. Start your list again.
Okay. So, I mean, this isn't everything that's coming off, but out of what I know on my list, it's Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, Ben 10, the 3 Ben 10 cartoons, Codename Kids Next Door, Johnny Bravo, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. All that's all Cartoon Network stuff. And then Astonishing X-Men's also coming off. The Buffy spinoff Angels coming off. The Riches is coming off. That was a short-lived series, a con man series.
That was a good show.
I like The Riches.
Yeah, I did too. I watched the first 6 episodes of that, and then that was one of those shows before I had a DVR that I forgot to keep watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that show. I haven't seen it in 2 weeks, and because it was episodic and you needed to know what was going on to keep up with it. I never got back into it, and it was before the days of on demand and before the days of my DVR. So according to on my Netflix list, I'll be busy. I have 15 series that are coming off the air.
Like, I got shit to watch.
Well, luckily I had been on and off watching Justice League Unlimited, and I finished it over the weekend. I only had about 5 episodes left, so I was able to bang that out. And then Batman Beyond, they have all 55 episodes, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get that or if I'm just going to have to look for it on a DVD. Because it's going to be tough to get through. I might watch some of the goofy things here and there that I can kind of put it on in the background and laugh at it. But Batman Beyond, I'd almost like to look for that and because I have the complete Batman animated series. I'd almost like to own that whole DC universe on DVD.
Yeah.
Because the Superman series was so good, the Batman series was so good, both Justice League shows, the movies that they made were really enjoyable.
Return of the Joker is one of my favorites.
Return of the Joker is great. I had a bootleg of the unedited Return of the Joker.
Yeah, I have the unedited.
Where he kills the dude at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's another thing that happened in this Justice League Unlimited that I wanted to bring up, and then I'm going to shut up and we can end the show. I realized that Mark Hamill, with his future appearance on the new Flash series as the Trickster, would have played the Trickster on 3 different shows. Because he does a Justice League Unlimited appearance as the Trickster.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah, there's an episode of Justice League Unlimited where Flash's rogue gallery kind of goes after him. It's Mirror Master, Captain Cold, and Captain Boomerang, and the Trickster. And they kind of like freeze the Trickster out of their plans. They're like, we're not going to use the Trickster. And the Flash it's interesting, just like Flash's relationship with his villains, because Batman's going around with him, and just how his relationship was so much different than some of the other heroes and the villains, that there was a mutual respect almost there, and less of a hatred. It was more of a fun competition.
Like they were workplace buddies almost.
Yeah. Like the coyote and the dog in that old Warner Brothers cartoon when they were punching in and out of the clock.
Oh, yeah.
Ralph and Sam or whatever it was.
Yeah, the sheepdog.
Yes.
That's the second time that episode's been referenced today. I was reading something else and that was referenced. I'm like, why?
You can always find a reference to a Looney Tunes episode.
Yeah.
It's kind of what there's been now. You're working on 3 generations of Americans that have been raised on Looney Tunes cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you're almost looking at 4, because you figure those cartoons came out when our grandparents were kids.
Yeah.
And now we got kids.
It's all about Space Jam. Stop.
Space Jam was good. It's
not
all about Space Jam.
You will not besmirch Space Jam. I'm just going to say that.
It was the finest acting performance of Charles Barkley's career.
Yes. I will agree with that statement.
Because I felt for Charles Barkley.
I would say Larry Johnson's career as well, but the Grandmama commercials were phenomenal.
Grandmama.
And Sean Bradley, and they remind people that Sean Bradley was a thing.
And what was
right.
it? Spud Webb, wasn't he in that too?
I don't think Spud Webb was.
No, it wasn't Spud Webb. It was Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy
Bogues.
Bogues. Muggsy Bogues.
Patrick Ewing, Muggsy Bogues, Sean Bradley, Charles Barkley, and Larry Johnson.
Yes. That was fantastic.
He's not a basketball player. He's a baseball player.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Many, many people.
Yeah, the movie had its moments. It was enjoyable. It was.
It wasn't.
But I mean, it ain't classic Looney Tunes. Anything post. Anything almost post Mel Blanc Looney Tunes isn't the same Looney Tunes. And even there was some Mel Blanc Looney Tunes that aren't great. There's Looney Tunes stuff that came out in the 70s that was at best.
True. But all cartoons go through that. Their peaks and valleys. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us this week. Unless anybody else has anything else.
No, I got nothing.
All right, cool. So, you know where to find us, ninjaverse.wordpress.com, facebook.com/ninjaverse, youtube.com/ninjaverse. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 just came out, and I'm going to make my daughter play it tomorrow, so there will be a video up soon.
Real quick, but did you guys see the Honest trailers for Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yes.
No.
I have an Honest trailers addiction where I'll watch like 6 of them at a time.
Yeah, me too.
I think about it. But the Five Nights at Freddy's was pretty funny. Where you're just like, I'm going to play this. Oh, fuck, what the fuck is that?
Well, real quick, I watched this guy Markiplier on YouTube play it. Everything you've learned about the previous 2 Five Nights at Freddy's, as far as gameplay mechanics go, are fucking out the window with this one. It's an entirely new gameplay mechanic, and I can't figure out the rhythm of the gameplay yet because it's fucked up, and it's fucking creepy. So I'm going to make my daughter play it tomorrow and record her. And she'll have the headset on, so she'll be very scared in surround sound. So, nice.
Actually, no, she won't be very scared in surround sound because you won't hear her.
No, I have not had a problem. I was streaming on Twitch and everything was fine.
This entire podcast episode has been you.
Well, next week I'll have all the quirks figured out with this thing. I'm looking up stuff while we're recording. So.
Mike sounds really good.
Yeah, see? Now my headset's fucked. But whatever. I'm Will.
I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
And we'll see you next week.
Fix your headset, motherfucker.